Satnam. Good sunrise. Met it a little bit earlier this morning, and today we will focus on doing the card pull for the day. All right, so let's jump right in. Welcome. My name is Amrit. Welcome to Awakening with Amrit, a space where we just seek to come out of this 3D matrix that we live in, the matrix of the mind, tap into the fullness of who we truly are, infinite beings with infinite potential, beings of love, with abundance and freedom as our birthrights. So let's jump right in. Using the same cards we used yesterday, have the That's the Witch Tarot deck here. Start with the tarot card. So welcome. It is Thursday. I think, no, it ain't. It's Friday. As I mentioned yesterday, like my concept of time, linear time, is completely out the window. I often don't even know what month it is anymore. So there's that. Good boy, Hermes. There's been a lot going on outside this morning, so he might bark a little bit, and that's okay. All right, but let's tap in right now, and we're going to ask Spirit. Spirit, what is a message today that can help us be most aligned to our highest selves, to our highest purpose, and guide us on this journey today? Oh, there we go. There's the one that popped out that wants to be seen. Wow. Okay. All right. Loving this. Today's card, the High Priestess. Interesting because yesterday we had the Empress. So we're getting these major arcana cards coming out. All right. The High Priestess. It looks like she's laying in a coffin. I don't think that's the case, though. I think it's more of like a doorway. Although it could be argued that a coffin is a doorway into the underworld, into the next um, existence that the soul gets to experience after this body leaves, or this body is done functioning in this lifetime, in this 3D plane. So let's see. Who is this witch, this high priestess? And what message does she have for us today? The high priestess, Kumayan Sybil. I hope I'm saying that right. Kumayan Sybil. Ancient stories say that Lake Avenurus near Naples was the door to the world beyond the grave. Near the lake is the cave of Sybil, who lives on the threshold between the world of the living and that of the dead, transcending the dualism between the two. She is granted immortality by the god Apollo, who fell in love with her, but she does not retain her youth. Though her knowledge of the outside world stays that of the young girl dedicated to the god, her inner wisdom grows as she assimilates the stories of the past and the intuitions of future destinies. She writes her prophecies on leaves because while knowledge is fragile in the common language, it is strong in the inner space of premonitions, of contact with the forces of nature, and of listening to time and to its silence. Her body becomes a hindrance and shrinks like a leaf to the point of completely disappearing into her voice, an ancestral echo among the rocks. The Sibyl introduces the card's mysteries of the High Priestess, who shows us the line between the visible and the invisible, between thought and subconscious. The high priestess talks to shadows, draws her answers from the deep. She is obscure and mysterious, like something important we have lost in a dream and breathlessly chase after. At times, meeting her may signal difficulty in daily social communications, but often is an invitation to introspection, a journey into our spirit in the company of ancestors. Wow. Yeah. Reminds me of Scorpio, that inner talking to the shadows, drawing answers from the deep. That's very much Scorpio. I'll have to look later and see which uh, astrological archetype the high priestess is connected to. Because each of the major arcana, I think some of the minor too, are associated with specific astrological archetypes. So the positive aspects of this card are intuitive truth, inner voice, meditation, and foresight. The shadow side of this card or this energy, repression of feelings, difficulty in communication. Hmm. So it looks like we're on the same kind of theme as we had yesterday with the going inward, going inside. And maybe today, if you find yourself in a space where you're unable to communicate, or maybe you're communicating, but you don't feel like you're being heard, or you're just not sure what to say, just taking that moment in stillness to reflect, to go in, ask the ancestors, ask your spirit guides, God, source, whatever it is you believe in that is around you. They're all around us and with us all the time. Just connect with them and ask them to give you the words, or maybe just keeping the silence is the best thing to do. All right, let's get some more insight. We're going back to Amritji's reflection cards. Let's see what additional insights we can have from Spirit today around this beautiful High Priestess card. All right, Spirit, what reflections do we have? Always feels like there's so many cards that want to hop out of this deck. Okay, all right, this one. I'm gonna take that. Okay, and we have acceptance. Hmm. Resistance drains energy. Acceptance saves it, and cheerfulness sustains it. Wow, acceptance. Yeah, I have often heard what you resist grows. And essentially, it's because if we're in that state of resistance and we're just constantly fighting against it, then we're focusing our energy there. And what you focus on grows. So, like, I know for me, a big one that I had to accept when healing my knee was that I'm no longer the athlete I used to be. I'm no longer that physically active. And that was hard for me to accept. My entire identity, especially as a child in my 20s, was an athlete. It's how I moved energy through my body. It's how I was able to not go in depressive states when things happened. And so when all that was taken from me when I had my injury in 2013, it took me years to accept it. And I struggled with that injury and the after effects of it for like over 12 years. And honestly, just within the last year or so, I accepted it. And now I'm almost completely healed. So that's just one example. For so long, I just focused on the pain and how I couldn't do things, and it just perpetuated that. So I would invite you today, if there's something that has been nagging at you or glaring at you that's been really challenging, to just say, you know what, this is what is right now, and I accept what it is, and I allow time and patience with myself to go inward and find, or not even find, but allow spirit to show me what to do next. And maybe these symbol cards can give us a little more insight. Sacred symbol cards. So let's see what we got here. Sacred symbols. These are a little harder to shuffle. I just don't want to bend them because they're so nice. All right, we'll just do it like that. All right, spirit. What sacred symbol can further this message that we have from the High Priestess, from our reflections? Okay, that one wants to come out. Wow. Void. The symbol here is just darkness, right? There's nothing else here. Void. Wow. All right. Let's see what this beautiful book says about this card. Void. It'd be funny if it was just a black page with nothing on it. All right. Step into the unknown. All may not be revealed at this time. Trust in unseen forces. Meditate on this to let go of all attachments or possibilities, to free yourself from your dharma and increase your trust in your guides and the universe. This symbol is inspired by the nothing in the never ending story. I loved that movie when I was a kid. You know what? I'm going to have to go back and watch that movie now that I'm older and I've been on the spiritual path for a while. I bet there's so much wrapped into that movie that maybe I didn't see when I watched it when I was younger. So just what we were saying here, like, right, with the acceptance and maybe not knowing, being in a space of unknowing and having to trust. Same as yesterday of letting go of the attachments, possibilities, how we think it should be. Free yourself from your dharma. Hmm. Increase your trust in your guides and the universe. Going within, connecting with those ancestors. They'll show you the way. Just have to ask and then be still long enough to hear when they answer, and just be awake as you're moving throughout your day, as you're driving, as you're walking, if you work in an office, when you get up from your desk after sitting there for so many hours and you're walking to the bathroom, take that moment to breathe, be aware of what's around you, so that if there are any messages that might be there, any signs or symbols, you have capacity to see them. Take a minute to meditate. Take those 3 long, deep breaths, listening to the breath, and they'll answer you and give you some guidance and some insight. All right, that's our cards for the day. Sending you all so much love. Have a beautiful, beautiful rest of your day. Satnam.